Filipino martial arts are my guilty pleasure. It's the martial art I continue to do despite me not thinking it works. It's my guilty pleasure. And honestly, I've been teaching it for 10, 11 years, and I've been training in it for almost 20. And I have a problem. And the problem isn't that, oh, Kali doesn't work, Kali doesn't do this, it's to each their own on whatever that is. I have a problem with Filipino martial arts as they're presented online. I have three main reasons why Filipino martial arts are represented poorly online, and I'm gonna get into it now. Firstly, Filipino martial arts, as it's demoed online, a lot of people, especially on Instagram, is done without emotional content nor context. Basically, they talk about a lot of, lofty goals while doing it without moving. We do a heaven six pattern and we're just dead in the air. We've killed the art so much for the sake of coordination and drilling that the art's aliveness is so dead, like you don't even know what it's supposed to look like when you're gonna be fighting. And the common anti-Filipino martial arts crowd always comes out in droves and says, when are you gonna have two sticks in a fight? You're not gonna have two sticks in a fight, you dork. But what you are gonna have is maybe one stick, maybe a baseball bat, maybe you pack a sword in your car like a weirdo, maybe an axe like a different kind of weirdo. And I'm not calling people out, I might be one of those weirdos, you never know. My instructor in Filipino Kali tells this story, and I'm not sure it's a good story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway, where he had a road rage incident and he pulled over and a guy brought out his knife and a baseball bat and Ron brought out a sword and another fucking thing. And look at that, he's about to get into a stick and dagger fight in LA on the side of the highway. Again, kind of stupid, but you never know what's gonna happen. Now that kind of divulges into a different problem. You gotta train for every single situation. But no, double stick is a coordination drill in case you're having a sword fight or a stick fight or a fun fight with your friends doing lightsaber bullshit and your right hand gets hurt and now you have it in your left hand. Or so that way when the stick drops, you do have the option of using the hand to touch and grab. That's why you train two sticks. No, you're not gonna go pick up a staff, break it in half, and go like this, like what is his name? Steven Seagal did with Danny and Asanto in that one movie that no one watched.
Get up, sticks. Come on, man, come on. Come on. Come on, get in there. Go. Focus fucking eye out. Focus fucking eye out. Come on, you got it now.
But that being said, they'll demonstrate all this stuff online and it'll have zero emotional content. They'll just be demoing it like it's mundane to them, which it might very well be. If you've taught martial arts for a long time, sometimes when you show basic stuff, it gets really mundane. But honestly, you have a stick, put a little bit of aliveness into it so at least people can see contextually maybe what the art's supposed to kind of look like. Age notwithstanding, but you have someone like Grandmaster Bobby Tabata, who's old as shit, no offense, and he's moving great. He's moving fantastic. Love it. You have Guru Danny Santo. He's almost 90 and he still moves fantastic. He has slowed down, but that's natural. He's almost 90. He looks better than some of our elected officials. And don't get me started on Panantukan, which is part of Kali, part of Filipino martial arts, part of Eskrima, part of Silat, whatever you want to say, and how it's demonstrated, where it's like this super specific, very tiny, minute thing that's never gonna happen. And I made a short little reel about this on Instagram a bit ago, basically talking about putting the aliveness back into the art. If I'm gonna teach the 5 count, it's not gonna be dead with no footwork, okay? In the beginning, maybe I'll kill the art just in order to get the coordination, but once you have the coordination, now you can start to apply the footwork and start getting, some forward advancement here, some fencing footwork, some cool maybe reverse lead, false lead type, footwork. It's supposed to be fun, dudes, and it's supposed to be a workout, kinda. If you're not moving, you're not working out. You're just playing with two sticks in the garage with your friends. And your mom thinks you're doing other things with your friends with sticks. Another problem Filipino martial arts has online is with the constant comparison to combat sports. Oh my God, Filipino martial arts is not a combat sport. Sorry, the Roomba is going crazy here. Okay, so Filipino martial arts is not a combat sport. If this is supposed to represent a sword, I don't know many combat sports that lets me use swords. I mean, you do have HEMA, but that's a different topic for a different day. So combat sports has this thing, right? Where they train with a ton of aliveness. They spar a lot. They do a lot of, really tough drilling. They'll do positional work in jiu-jitsu. They have all of this stuff that make it a combat sport. But as the Filipino martial arts people go absolutely bananas for, there are rules. There are no rules on the street when I have a sword. Oh no, there he is. There he goes. There's no rules. There's none in the street. There's also glass on the floor. There's also needles and other accoutrements. Lava. I think there's lava down there. There's gotta be lava. There are no rules on the streets. That's why we use sticks. So that way, when there are no rules, we can use eye gouges and dick kicks. And listen, my brother's in arms, in martial arms. Imagine a highly trained combat sports athlete. They're doing deadlifts, they're doing pull-ups, they're doing all these different things that help their grip. Okay, secondary thing, they're highly trained cardiovascularly. They're not gonna be in their 60s, overweight, driving a pickup truck. They might be driving a pickup truck. Some of them might be overweight, but most of them aren't overweight in the way I'm talking, right? We think about this highly trained athlete and we give them a stick or a knife. Do you think for a moment that you and your whatever, your Filipino Kali training is gonna do anything against them? No. Imagine on the streets, you're fighting somebody. Oh, we would beat MMA and jiu-jitsu all day. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You're not gonna make it to your car in time to get your gun. You're not gonna make it in time to be able to grab your stick or your knife. You're gonna be trying drawing and you're already gonna be knocked out or on the ground. Oh no, on the ground with a knife fight. Yeah, again, they're highly trained. They're gonna get the grip, they're gonna see the knife, and they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna pin that knife and they're gonna beat the shit out of you. Like the argument that combat sports is bad because it has rules is stupid. It has rules so you can continue to train it. Just like we use padded sticks in Kali or even rattan sticks. And when you spar, you wear all this gear because you don't want to hurt each other. You don't want to hurt that. The rules, you have to put rules on things. And that's why it makes MMA and jiu-jitsu so highly refined because, and striking too, it makes it so highly refined because there are rules, there are pads and stuff in place. When you look at the WKA, the World Kali Association, and how they do fighting, that's all rules, and it looks like shit because the refinement isn't there because there's no respect to the stick, because they can't get knocked out because they're wearing too much armor. I do agree that sometimes rules do go too far in one direction. Take a look at like sport judo or sport taekwondo. I do think that stuff goes too far. However, you can't be that delusional to think that my stick training will beat a trained Muay Thai fighter in the street. They're gonna switch kick me in the head and I'm gonna be unconscious before I even know if I have a knife in my hand or not, my own knife. So the argument that combat sports and picking that fight is stupid, you should stop. My third reason here ties into the first one of being no emotional content and no context given on any of these techniques. And number two, the constant comparison of Filipino martial arts versus combat sports, tying into the third thing being that they're using the same hooks as prolific MMA and BJJ and Muay Thai practitioners on Instagram, and it's making it look incredibly bad. We're gonna take a look at a few of them here and we'll see what we're talking about here. So the first guy is everyone's favorite, Datu Phil, whatever the hell his name is. And we'll look at this first one here. The BJJ people are out of their minds.
JJ guys are out of their minds, especially this guy, Robert D'Onofrio, or whatever the heck his last name is. Made some comments about me being a Ninja Turtle. Well, yeah, they were trained. Matter of fact, in the first movie, Shishir Nakalo is a modern arts practitioner. One of my colleagues, he played Michelangelo, a part that none of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu players could have done because they're too busy hugging each other and being part of that barefoot brigade. When was the last time you saw them in a movie? Our stuff is all over the place. And what do? They cuddle with their gis and in their spandex. That's a whole nother topic. But hey, you want to know more about Filipino martial arts and how it's in the movies and stuff like that, you come follow. And if you want to know about cuddling, I guess D'Onofrio or whatever the hell his name is, that's the guy you want to look at. But hey, make sure you follow.
Okay, so first of all, Datu, made up title. You made this up. You made it up, my dude. You're bringing up several things here. One, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is about cuddling. And listen, if you want to be gay like the rest of us, just jump on the mats, brother. Ain't no one gonna judge. It's Jiu-Jitsu. It's 2026. Secondary, wearing shoes on the mat. Yeah, you wear shoes on the mat in everything, and that triggers me. As I mentioned in the Derek Moneyberg video, wearing shoes on the mat is gross and unsanitary, especially if you do takedowns or any type of groundwork at all on those mats. You're gonna get staph on your face, and then I will laugh at you. Not out loud. But you see how he's using jiu-jitsu? He's trying to grab those jiu-jitsu people. He's rage baiting, and it triggers me because I hate rage baiting. Let's look at another one.
The UFC and other sports venues are not real combat. I get this all the time. I put up my content, and of course there's going to be someone saying, hey, if it's so good, why is it in the UFC? Well, I'll tell you what, the UFC, as good as it is, and all those other sport venues, they are not real. They're real contact. People are really hitting each other, really locking each other, kicking, punching, all those throws. No question about that. But it's done by a set of rules. There's safety equipment. It's done in a ring. It's not done in the streets with asphalt, gravel, or even broken glass. It's for our entertainment, and there's officials and rules to keep the fighters safe. But in a real street fight, there's no rules. Just one: survival. I can't tell you how many times I've seen two people square off and somebody's friend comes in out of nowhere and clips somebody.
Oh my God, fuck you. Okay, so first of all, again, the broken glass. Where the fuck are you? Like, Jesus Christ, there's not broken glass everywhere. I mean, where do you live? I worry about you. When you go, no wonder you have to wear shoes now you're putting those broken glass shoes on the mat. I gotta take a break. Okay, I had to take a break because I got too triggered. So what are we noticing here? We're noticing a pattern, and this pattern is just rage bait and also like very, catchy hooks, basically just trying to grab your attention in the 3 seconds like good Instagram should be doing. But what are they not doing? They're not showing me anything that Filipino martial arts is. They're just saying what it is. It's actually a big problem I have with like anime, is like if you watch a good anime, they don't tell you what's going on, they show you what's going on, and then they'll fill in little gaps here that maybe you can't infer. Like, I don't understand why he can't just show me. So let's look at some of Datu Hartmann's techniques, and then we'll move on to another person. Oh, here's a brutal hand-to-hand technique. Let's do that. I want to see another stick with
brutal hand-to-hand combat technique. Jab comes in, I do a split entry hit, hook before he gets away. I'm going to throw the uppercut, I'm going to throw the elbow, secure, throw the knee, and spike with another elbow. Once again, split entry, which could be a punch or an eye jab. From here, what I'm going to do is come down and trap this so he can't get away. I'm going to throw the hook to soften him up, throw the inward elbow, secure him, and throw that knee, and I've got another follow-up elbow. This at a little quicker pace. Follow me.
That's just Ed Parker Kempo Karate. That's a big problem I have with Panantukan and Filipino martial arts empty hand, is that it's all shown like this, where it's like the other person fell asleep after he threw the punch, where he just went, boom, okay, do the 35 hit combo to me, sir. And then you're like, oh wow, that was so devastating. Brother, he would have thrown the punch and ran away, like the first thing in the split entry. That might be enough to end the fight. Like, I'm not arguing that. I'm more arguing like, you landed 5 hits after that one thing. Brother. I can't believe how far I have to scroll before I see any double stick work. The first one, okay, thank God. Only 7,000 views. No wonder you didn't repeat it.
You should know, the 4 corner Sinwali. Now, we're gonna use 2 different colored sticks so you can figure out which is the right hand and which is the left. So the 4 corner center wall, I put the sticks on my shoulder.
Oh, are you okay? There, I was about to. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead because I was like, is there not a partner?
Boxing guard. Later, I'll transition down to here because if we're doing weapon fighting, we want the stick as a shield. If it's up here, it's a target. You know. So we're gonna go high, high, low, low, making a box. 2 high here, 2 high there. So it's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. We're not crossing the center line. It goes out and comes back where it came from. Then the left does that. Then I do the low one on the right and low one on the left, and then I repeat. So why is it the first? Because it's easiest to learn. There's so much potential off of that. So when you're teaching beginners, you want the easy victories first. And then as they build up more.
Okay, Datu, that one was good. Thank you for showing your actual technique. Do more of that instead of whatever it is the fuck this rage bait shit is, because it's triggering and I hate it, and I need you to do better. Show the actual art and show why it's cool. That video was pretty cool. I'm sure you're gonna get comments, well, I never had double stick. Who cares? Just post your content and move on. A lot of jujitsu doesn't work. It doesn't work in the streets because you pull K-guard or something like that. Don't talk about that. Just talk about what you're doing. Talk about making the sport better. Let's go to our number 2 guy. Our number 2 guy is Inayan. I'm sure I'm saying that right. He's doing more of the empty hand stuff, which is fine. But again, I spoke a little bit earlier about my issues with the empty hand. So let's see, this street fighting tactic will help you survive.
Street fighting tactic to help you survive. So if we look at our opponent, and they usually are gonna strike us with a right hand because they're cavemen, and they'll give me a nice wide strike because that's typically what we'll just...
Pause, bro, you're wearing socks on the mat and your buddy's not. Why are you wearing socks on the mat? Do you have gross feet? You got punching bags there. I bet if I looked at your website, you have grappling because most gyms do. Stop wearing socks on the mat. Socks are gross. You sweat in those. You got fungus in those. Fungus among them.
Search street fight and you'll find that every time. So look at the way his body turns. He needs this rotation. That's how he's generating force. He's got that planted leg. So as he does that, and I just put my foot here.
Okay. All right. Sweet Jesus Christ. You see the emotional content? No wonder combat sports makes fun of you. We're here trying to train, hit the bag, get in the best shape of our lives. You even got a whoop strap on, brother. I know you care about your fitness, but then you're like, you're just gonna do a lackadaisical step as a means of showing the art? What's wrong with, Filipino martial arts is the greatest thing. Here we go, here we go. Okay, let's keep going.
Messes up his entire structure. That's not actually how you're going to do the technique. I just wanted to demonstrate what happens.
You should have shown me how to do the technique first before doing that, but let's see how you do it, brother.
Medium power. I want you to hit me in the face, please. Again. One more time. So as he's trying to swing and do that, as I tap him in the shin here, which I'd really rather hit him in the patella, but we're practicing and not fighting. I'm just going to hit him in such a way as he swings that it straightens out his legs, pushes his hips back, and he loses that range. And even if he does make contact, virtually all
is that the best? Is that the best thing for that?
Here, now look at that beautiful line that I have. If I'm able to capitalize, and that is a great tip for a street fight. Follow me for more street fighting tips and tricks.
Okay, well, again, the emotional content. Show that move first, then show how to break it down. Don't show this little. Okay, let's look at another one. All right. Secret Filipino martial arts technique you will never forget. Let's see if I'll forget it because I don't remember.
So when I'm receiving an attack here, I'm gonna hit with my
the gunting. Got it.
Sometimes called the gunting, which means scissor. And what I'm doing is I'm hitting like this here as I receive this. Give me a quick attack and retract so that I can time that here. That'll allow me to get into other ways. So if I want to enter, I'm worried about that other hand. Or if I want to enter and go after the eye and go after the face, that's fine too. But it's born of the knife in 2 ways. In Filipino martial arts, we're a blade art first and a blade culture. So he gives and I give back. Now on the other side of this, if he's striking me here and I come here like this and I hit that, it makes his grip, which makes the disarm much easier to accomplish. Essentially, when we do this, the reason why someone never forgets, because of the nerves that are in the arm, if I come through and I strike here, it's very difficult for him to hold on to that. So here, hold on to this. Right? Yeah. So this affects these 2 fingers, the radial nerve. So when we do
I don't have those fingers, so I don't know anything about that. All right, I've seen enough. Send him to John Jones. That one's not terrible. The gunting, I love the gunting, but it's not a fight ender. I did a whole video with Ron Balicki on that if you want to check it out. It's in the tag or the something, I don't know. All right, here we go. Again, a rage bait.
Martial arts is better than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The first thing that we need to think about with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or basically just Judo, is that it is a grappling art, which means that I can only fight one person. I'm gonna get down there, I'm gonna get in a snuggle fight, and if someone comes up and tries to give me a boot, or maybe a friend comes up and tries to give my opponent the boot, I'm probably gonna end up with that boot in my own face. So it's not great on the ground. With my experience in law enforcement and security, fighting more than one person is very common, and the last thing I wanna do is get down on the ground where there's glass, hypodermic needles, rocks, urine, vomit, any kind of thing that would be in a normal, actual, real street fight. The other side of it is that with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the only lethal attack is a choke. And it's not well suited for tools. You could adapt it, like I could use a Phillips screwdriver to open a paint can, but that's not what it's meant for. Whereas Filipino martial arts is meant for combat. It was used in World War II. It's used by special operations groups. Today, in both in the Philippines and here in the United States and other parts of the West, they use Filipino martial arts and other Southeast Asian martial arts to develop combat-ready, combat-proven, lethal techniques. So, and this is the other part of it. So if I could...
I've seen enough. Give him John Jones. No, again, I said that already, but if I had a bingo card for all the classical self-defense nonsense, that would have, I would have gotten a bingo. That's a bingo. I would have gotten a bingo for sure. There's glass, hypodermic needles, urine, all that stuff on the ground, yet you're wearing socks on the mat. Exactly my point. Apparently, since America is just, the ground is just piss and urine and broken glass everywhere, that you know, if I get in a street fight, I'm definitely going down there. Dude, do you think basically just judo as a BJJ joke? That was actually pretty good. I got that subtle one. But do you think that most people do pull guard? It's fun. It's easy to do. But if we clinch at all, I'm gonna take you down to the ground. You're gonna land on the glass. You're gonna land on the needles. You're gonna land on the urine. You're gonna land on the lava. Not me, you. And then I'll be like, ugh, gross. And then I'll be like, haha, you're covered in urine. And because I took you down. And then I'll hold you down. And then when his friend or my friend inevitably comes to help, like apparently, you know, this guy is super popular, what do they always do? What do they always do? A lot of times they don't hit. They always try to pull you off. I'll let him pull him off. All right. He's the one now covered in urine, and he's gonna start swinging at me. I'll clinch, put him back down again. Listen, and especially if I have friends. My friends are not gonna start punching and kicking. They're also gonna just pull guard and try to do De La Hiva on this guy, covered in urine. Oh, okay, all right. We got one more guy to get through. Let's get through this, and then we'll do a palate cleanser. I only have one video of this guy because honestly, I think this guy means the best out of the other one. He doesn't rage bait. He just lacks, he's trying to lose weight and all this stuff. And I think he has lost the weight or gained, I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to make too much fun of the guy, but he's pretty internet famous with the toppy.
Strike. Boom. Hadouken! That's the tappy.
That's the tappy. That's my favorite guy. And listen, I'm not making fun of his weight or anything. But again, he does the thing that all of these things do, is that they do the 35 hit combo, like the Ed Parker Kempo stuff, which isn't great. But I love it because it became a meme, at least for me in my gym, where I teach Kali and I'll be like, and that's the tappy. The Hadouken, all that stuff is honestly fine. He's less of the problem, but his stuff that he shows isn't super clean. So a lot of people will look at it and they'll look at like a super clean, crisp, highly trained athlete perform an armbar at the highest stage, and they'll be like, wow, that's gorgeous. And then they see that and they're like, ugh. And that's kind of the problem that I have. You want to showcase, I think it's fine if you showcase the tappy, then show your students training it, and then maybe show clips of it or parts of it that work in actual combat. Like one of the elbow to the chest or something like that, because all of these arts, because they say, like the other guy said, Inayan, said that all these other arts are borrowing from Filipino Kali, which is correct. So if that be the case, highlight the parts that they're borrowing. I think it's cool. Every now and again, I'll see a new jujitsu move, like Eli will show me, or my other coach will show me, or somebody, I'll see it on the internet and I'll be like, I saw that in Kali. I'm not gonna make the post on the internet that Kali invented it, because human movement is human movement. And albeit in the Philippines and all that stuff that developed there, it also developed in Brazil on the other side of the planet, or in Japan or wherever. So human movement is human movement. But it's just you see it and it's a little bit goofy looking, and you know, I think that's kind of funny. So that is my problem with the Filipino martial arts online. You have the lacking emotional content and context. You have the combat sports comparison and the self-defense. There's hypodermic needles on the floor. It's a Billy Joel song right there. And then of course you have all the rage baiting and the Instagram hooks and all that stuff, making the art look goofy as crap. So here's a little bit of a palate cleanser. Here's me teaching some Kali.じゃあ皆さんご覧にいただいてありがとうございました。このビデオいいねと思ったら LIKE ボタンを押してください。もしかしてこのみたいなビデオをもっと見たいと登録してください。そうだね、新しいチャンネルを作ったんですよ。このチャンネルは普通の武道とかアニメの武道についてビデオを続けて発表します。でもそのチャンネル、新しいチャンネルは柔術だけのビデオを作っているはずです。それで柔術が好きとそのチャンネルを登録してください。じゃあ次のビデオへよろしくお願いいたします。じゃあね。Party on, guys.